Good day. My name is Renee Fox, and today we're going to speak about the do's and don'ts of HIV testing. So, I'm sure you would have had an HIV test at some point in your life, and maybe as you were sitting there, you didn't quite know what to look out for. But I thought I'd do this clip just so that you could have some insight into what's actually supposed to take place when you have an HIV test. The things you could look out for and the things you could advocate for in the space when you're getting tested or when you're telling your family members about getting tested. So first off, HIV testing is really critical because we need to know what our statuses are. The aim of it all is really to have a zero HIV generation at some point. And the only way we can get there really is to get tested, know your status, and then based on your status, determine what the way forward is. So if you're HIV positive, for example, you go on to ARVs, which is a lifelong treatment. So ARV is short for antiretroviral therapy. And that is lifelong. It's every single day of your life you should take it in order to suppress the virus so that you cannot transmit HIV. Then if you are HIV negative, but you are practicing risky, what we term risky behavior, so having multiple partners, having transactional sex, selling sex, any of those, or having condom sex in general, then there's another option for you. And again, it's not a silver bullet, it's not really for everyone, but it's an option that's available, and that is PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. And that can be access to the Department of Health or through different partner organizations looking at specific populations, like the term key and vulnerable populations, for people at risk of acquiring HIV through whatever practices might be exposing them to that. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of background on that, but the entire discussion really is around what to look out for when you're in that consulting room or in that space where you're being tested. Very often, as a consumer, we don't think about these things and we don't think about the repercussions of some of what we take. So if I were to be in a hurry, I need to be getting back to work and I only have half an hour. Half an hour might not be enough for the conversation that I'm requiring. So I might be wanting to actually family planning and I go, oh, I'm quickly going to pop into the clinic, get my family planning and off I go. So there is no such thing as quickly when it comes to health. If you want it done properly, then you need to be able to invest the time as well. So one of my biggest bugbears is just that, being aware that it's not a 5-minute experience. I need to check certain things. So a healthcare worker will be coming to family planning, you need to check your weight, you need to check your blood pressure, you need to check your side effects, and then you need to check your HIV and HIV status. So to test for HIV, we've got various tests in South Africa. They range from 10 minutes waiting periods up to 15 minutes waiting periods, right? And if you're doing an HIV self-screening, that's testing it yourself through an oral application of test, that is 20 minutes. And if you've just eaten, you can't do it immediately. Okay, so that's the oral one. So how can we walk into a space and say, I just quickly want to get something? So it's also from our side as consumers, we need to think through what it is we're asking. But from the point of now I've come into the room, there's this commitment being made in terms of the consultation and the expectations is I'm going to have an HIV test. I'm going to walk out of here and go back to work. So just a few things to think about. When you're entering that room, there needs to be consent, there needs to be this whole explanation around what HIV is, how you get it, what your understanding is as a consumer, and that could be in the form of the counselor or the tester telling you all this information or asking you to explain what you know about it. I like that version of it because then it's more of a conversation than a top-down type of thing. So for me, what is critical to know is that there has to be a timer. Okay, that is non-negotiable. There has to be some way that your test is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the manufacturer has said. As a consumer, know what tests you're using. Know what they're going to do if this test has got 2 or 3 strikes. What does that mean? Know where they're going with this result. Know that they're going to ask you questions about your sexual practices. For example, what type of sex you engage in? Is it oral sex, vaginal sex, or anal sex? Ask questions and be comfortable in that question. But know that this is exactly a two-way conversation. If it makes you feel uncomfortable at any point, you need to open up about that. If this is not the healthcare worker that you feel you could open up to, then you can shop around to find exactly the person that you're looking for. So don't at any point feel that you're locked into any healthcare provider. There are many out there, but definitely make sure that they look at policy, that they've got job aids. And I think as consumers, we also need to move away from that concept of if the person opens the book, they don't know what they're doing. I'm in a space where I believe the person opening the book tells you that they actually know about these policies, job aids or guidelines that will actually provide quality to the session that you're having. And it doesn't mean that I have to open the policy and read verbatim. I can literally give it to you, show you where I'm getting this information from, so that you can also understand that it's not thumbs-up, for example. Know the qualifications of your tester. You can ask. I mean, you walk into a doctor's surgery, the certificates are normally up on the wall. You walk into a pharmacy, the qualifications of the pharmacist are normally up on the wall. So you can do the same with regards to your HIV tester. You can ask them around their qualifications, how long they've been doing it, etc. So that's perfectly fine. But yeah, my biggest bugbear is around time. They should definitely not be using their cell phones only because of cross-contamination. You know, they're touching the finger, they might just touch blood, they might be carrying it at home. But if you are testing yourself, by all means, you can use your cell phone. But use something. Very often, a tester will tell you, oh no, I know what 10 minutes is. Well, if you're having an awkward conversation, that 10 minutes may actually be 3 minutes, if 10 minutes is really long. Or if you're having a really good conversation, you might actually talk endlessly and then not even realize that you've gone over the 10 minutes. And so why am I talking about time? And why is time important with regards to tests? If the person doesn't wait the full 10 minutes, they could be giving you a false negative result. If they take longer than the time the manufacturer has said, they could be giving you a false positive result. So it's important in that regard. Also, if you were to have a reaction or positive result in the first test, you need a second test, a different type of test, to be able to say you are HIV positive. And that test also needs to have a reaction or be positive, if you put it that way. So these are a few of the things you need to look out for. You need to sign consent. Okay, nobody's allowed to be picking your finger without that consent. That consent says you know what you've been tested for. It says you know what the benefits and the risks are. It says you know that you have this duty really to tell the person that you're having sex with or that you're in a relationship with, so that they can also get tested. So it's much more than just, oh, yearly sign, prick the finger. Also, you've given me permission to ask you about STIs, TB, your sexual engagement, your contraceptive use. And contraceptive use includes asking a man what he, if it's a female partner that he's having, what she is on. Okay. I also like to say we don't make assumptions around sexuality. So we would speak about partners and do feel comfortable then to speak about your sexual orientation or who you're having sex with. So we understand that, because even within that there is a and it's an open conversation. So really, I think what I wanted to achieve by this little session is just for people to start thinking about what is actually needed when you're in that room. And I hope this was helpful in some way or other. There'll be a few of these little clips coming out, and so I hope that you have time to watch them all.